My beloved child, just 15 minutes ago, a decision was made that no one expected. A heart that kept choosing silence finally chose honesty instead. If you found this message today, do not rush away, because the timing itself feels meaningful. Stay with me for a moment. Someone has been carrying emotions they could never fully express, and something shifted so suddenly that even they were surprised by their own choice. They stopped listening to fear and started listening to what truly mattered. As this unfolds, clarity will come. The most surprising part is that this decision was not based on pressure, confusion, or coincidence. It came from a realization they could no longer ignore. Every unanswered question, every delayed conversation, every quiet moment has slowly been leading toward this turning point. For a long time, they believed waiting was the safest option. But today, everything felt different. A simple moment reminded them of a promise they made deep inside their heart, and suddenly they understood that delaying it any longer would only create more distance. This may resonate as we continue. While others expected them to keep walking in the same direction, they quietly turned toward the path that felt right. No announcement, no dramatic scene, just one powerful decision that changed everything within minutes. If you've been wondering why certain things seemed frozen lately, this could explain more than you realize. What makes this even more unbelievable is that this choice has already started creating small changes around them. Conversations are becoming different. Doubts are becoming weaker. Confidence is replacing hesitation. The people who once believed this connection would fade are beginning to notice something they cannot explain. It feels as if invisible pieces are finally fitting together after a long period of uncertainty. And the reason this happened today, instead of yesterday or tomorrow, is because they finally trusted what their heart had been repeating all along. Before this story reaches its next chapter, remember one thing: something huge is waiting for you. The next piece reveals what happened immediately after this unexpected decision, and why it could become the moment everyone remembers. The truth behind that next step is far more surprising than the decision itself. Stay close, because what comes next changes the entire story. A quiet moment can sometimes carry more power than 1,000 spoken words, and that's exactly what happened next. The decision made just minutes earlier didn't remain hidden for long. It began changing the atmosphere around them in ways nobody expected. The same person who once questioned every feeling suddenly found an unusual sense of peace. It was as if their heart finally stopped arguing with their mind. Stay with me for a moment, because the next detail explains why this change feels so extraordinary. What seemed impossible yesterday is now slowly becoming possible, one step at a time. Then something even more surprising unfolded. A small sign appeared, nothing loud, nothing dramatic, but powerful enough to confirm they were moving in the right direction. The doubts that had controlled them for so long started disappearing. They realized that waiting forever would never create the future they truly wanted. As this unfolds, clarity will come. If this journey is keeping you curious, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes that the right timing can change everything. Sometimes a single story reaches the exact person who needs to hear it. What happened after this is what nobody around them could have predicted. Instead of looking back at old disappointments, they began preparing for what comes next. Their thoughts became clearer, their confidence stronger, and their hope brighter than it had been in a very long time. This may resonate as we continue. The most incredible part is that this wasn't the end of the decision, it was only the beginning. Every passing moment was quietly opening another door that had remained closed for far too long. But don't assume you've already heard the biggest revelation. The next chapter uncovers what they discovered only after making this choice. A discovery that completely changed the meaning behind everything they had been feeling. Something huge is waiting for you, and once that truth is revealed, the entire story will make even more sense. What they discovered next was something they never expected to uncover. The moment they embraced their decision, they began noticing connections they had ignored for far too long. Little memories returned with surprising clarity. Conversations that once seemed ordinary suddenly carried a completely different meaning. Stay with me for a moment, because this is where the story takes a remarkable turn. It wasn't luck that brought these realizations, it was the courage to finally see everything from a new perspective. As they reflected, one truth became impossible to ignore. Every delay, every unanswered question, and every unexpected detour had quietly been preparing them for this exact moment. Instead of feeling regret, they felt gratitude for the journey that shaped them. As this unfolds, clarity will come. The answers they had searched for weren't hidden somewhere far away, they had been growing inside them all along, waiting for the right time to be understood. That realization brought a peace they hadn't felt in a long time. Then came the moment that changed everything once again. Someone close to them noticed this quiet transformation and reacted in a way nobody could have predicted. Without saying much, they recognized that something important had shifted. The energy around every conversation felt lighter, every step forward felt more certain, and every doubt lost a little more of its strength. This may resonate as we continue. It became clear that one sincere decision was creating a ripple effect far beyond what anyone imagined. But the story is far from over. The next chapter reveals the unexpected response that arrived after this transformation, a response capable of changing the direction of everything that follows. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next revelation connects every clue you've heard so far into one unforgettable moment. The next moment arrived more quietly than anyone expected, yet it carried the greatest surprise of all. The response they had been wondering about finally appeared, and it wasn't filled with hesitation. It was filled with certainty. Every fear that once convinced them to stay silent began fading away. Stay with me for a moment, because this is where the story reaches a turning point. The choice made just 15 minutes ago wasn't only changing one heart, it was beginning to reshape the path ahead in ways no one could have imagined. As the truth became clearer, they realized something powerful. They had spent so much time waiting for the perfect sign that they almost missed the opportunity already standing in front of them. As this unfolds, clarity will come. If this story has kept you watching until now, make sure to share this video with someone who enjoys meaningful stories, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter, because the biggest revelation is still waiting just ahead. Then another unexpected detail surfaced. The people who once believed nothing would ever change started noticing a calm confidence they had never seen before. It wasn't about proving anyone wrong, it was about finally choosing hope over uncertainty. This may resonate as we continue. Every step they took now felt lighter, as though the weight they had carried for so long had quietly disappeared. And with each passing moment, the future looked brighter than it ever had before. But don't think this is the final chapter. The next part uncovers the hidden reason this decision happened at this exact moment, and why the timing may be the most surprising piece of the entire story. Something huge is waiting for you, and once that final truth is revealed, everything you've heard until now will come together in a way you never expected. Everything seemed clear, until one final detail quietly surfaced. It wasn't a message, a grand announcement, or an unexpected interruption. It was a realization that arrived deep within their heart, making them understand why this decision could only happen now. Stay with me for a moment. Looking back, they could finally see that every delay had been preparing them for this exact turning point. Nothing had truly been out of place, it had simply been unfolding in its own time. As they embraced that truth, an incredible sense of peace replaced every remaining doubt. The questions that once felt impossible to answer suddenly made perfect sense. As this unfolds, clarity will come. They realized that genuine connections are not built through rushing or forcing outcomes, but through patience, honesty, and the courage to move forward when the moment finally feels right. That single realization became more valuable than anything they had been searching for before. Then came the quiet surprise that completed the story. The decision made just 15 minutes ago had already begun creating a future they never believed was possible. The uncertainty that once stood in front of them was fading, replaced by confidence and hope. This may resonate as we continue. Sometimes the biggest changes don't begin with loud moments, they begin with one sincere choice that transforms everything from the inside out. And now the journey reaches its most meaningful point. Something huge is waiting for you. The greatest lesson wasn't the decision itself, but the courage it took to make it. Every chapter of this story has been leading here. To the reminder that the right moment can change everything when it is met with an open heart. This ending is not the end at all, it's the beginning of an entirely new chapter. The story doesn't truly end here, because every powerful decision leaves behind a lasting ripple. Long after that unexpected choice was made, its impact continued to grow in ways no one could have predicted. Stay with me for a moment. What seemed like a single moment of courage became the beginning of countless new possibilities. The fear that once controlled every step had quietly disappeared, replaced by a calm confidence that could finally move forward without looking back. As time passed, one final realization became impossible to ignore. The greatest change wasn't happening around them, it was happening within them. As this unfolds, clarity will come. They no longer searched for constant reassurance because they had learned to trust the direction their heart had chosen. Every experience, every delay, and every unanswered question had helped shape the strength they now carried. That strength became the foundation for everything waiting ahead. Looking back, they understood that the shocking decision made just 15 minutes ago wasn't a random event at all. It was the result of every lesson, every challenge, and every quiet hope they had held onto for so long. This may resonate as we continue. Sometimes the most extraordinary moments don't arrive with loud celebrations, they arrive quietly, changing the course of a life before anyone else even notices. And that's exactly why this moment feels so unforgettable. Before this journey closes, remember one thing: something huge is waiting for you. Not because the future is guaranteed, but because every meaningful journey begins with one sincere decision to move forward. And perhaps that's the greatest surprise of all, that the moment which changed everything was never about chance, it was about finally being ready. In the end, the most unforgettable truth was never about how quickly everything changed, it was about why it changed. Stay with me for a moment. Sometimes a single decision becomes the beginning of a completely different story, not because the world suddenly transforms overnight, but because one heart finally chooses honesty over hesitation. The moment that happened, everything else slowly started falling into place, one piece at a time. As this journey comes full circle, one lesson stands above all the rest. As this unfolds, clarity will come. The waiting, the unanswered questions, and the unexpected twists were never wasted. They were preparing the path for a moment that could only happen when the timing felt right. Looking back, every chapter carried a clue, and together those clues revealed a picture far greater than anyone could have imagined at the beginning. This may resonate as we continue. If there's one thing this story reminds us, it's that meaningful choices often begin quietly. They don't always arrive with applause or dramatic moments. Instead, they begin with a calm decision that changes the direction of everything that follows. That's why the choice made just 15 minutes ago became so unforgettable. It wasn't just a decision, it was the start of a new chapter filled with hope, courage, and possibility. And now, the story reaches its final words. Something huge is waiting for you whenever you choose to move forward with faith, patience, and an open heart. Thank you for staying until the very end of this journey. Sometimes the greatest turning points are the ones we never see coming, and when they finally arrive, they remind us that one sincere choice can change everything.